Hey everybody, just wanted to start off this video by saying thank you for taking the time to sit down and watch this video, and thank you for being interested in hearing more about my ministry in CRU. Also wanted to start off with a little bit of about me for those who maybe don't know me. My name is Nate Varner. On the left here is a picture of me and my family. I have two wonderful parents, and Bradley and Christy, and two siblings, Noah and Ruby. On the right here is a picture from graduation. I graduated with a degree in civil engineering from the University of Tennessee. But as you know, if you're watching this video, next year I'll be working with CRU. With that, you may be asking, Nate, what is CRU? And simply put, CRU is a parachurch organization, so an organization that comes alongside the local church. They're a global organization, but their main focus is campus ministry. So they're on a lot of campuses where they do a lot of discipleship and a lot of evangelism. The history behind it, it was started in 1951 by the guy on the right here. His name is Bill Bright. Essentially, his vision was reach the campus today and you'll reach the world tomorrow. So reach the students who are going to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, and you'll reach the workforce of tomorrow. But there's a sad reality about college because college is such a hard place to reach. There's a lot of things vying for students' attention, the party scene, and there's also a lot of things that they're being taught in college that's not true. They're being taught that the gospel is not true, that truth is subjective, a lot of things. And so this is why we have CRU, and this is why we have campus ministry, and specifically, I'll be working to help in this regard at the University of Tennessee, where I went to school. And so with that, hearing more about CRU, you may be asking also, hey, Nate, what do we do? What do you guys do on a weekly basis? What's your role, Nate? And I think I would summarize, kind of why we do in three words before I get to what we do. And those three words being win, build, send. So win students to Christ and build them up in their faith and then send them out in the workforce, send them out in the world where they're making disciples, where they're winning others to Christ and building them up in their faith. And so we do a lot of things that kind of help that and encapsulate that. So we have Bible studies once a week. I'll lead a Bible study once a week where we're building students up in faith. We also have weekly meetings where there is worship and a speaker. We do things like retreats, fall getaway, winter conference, spring break. We do a lot of evangelism on campus. We typically go out once a week and share the gospel. We do discipleship. I've been able to do that with some guys. And we also do summer mission trips where students can go on during their summer, do different events as well. That's just kind of a small look into what we do. And for now, I'm going to show you just some pictures from the last year, some more stuff about that of what we've been able to do. This here is a picture of my Bible study in the past 3 years. It's been a blessing to lead that. Seen a lot of dudes grow. Some came in not knowing the Lord at all, and it's been really cool to see the Lord work in their lives and where they're at now. This is a picture of the weekly meeting. I don't think numbers is the greatest measure of success, but I think it could be a sign that the Lord is blessing your ministry. I came into college and CRU at UT was completely kind of blown out by COVID, and so when I got there, it was about 15 students, and now we've grown to about 200. It's been really cool to be a part of in that growth process. This is a picture from spring break this past year. what we do on spring break. It's like a retreat for students, but we also go out on the beach and share the gospel. For those of you in the New Union community, Curtis Bowery actually he was in a fraternity at UT, and he went to spring break with his fraternity and wasn't living for the Lord at the time. And some CRU students walked up to him and shared the gospel with him. And from there, his life kind of changed. That's when really the Lord kind of lit a fire in him. And now he's a deacon at New Union. Super cool story. These are the summer missions that are happening this year where students are going. I think a lot of times, or hopefully in some way, your greatest measure of success is, are your disciples making disciples? Are your students going and doing the Great Commission? So you see here that students are going all over this summer and have been since 2021, 79 since 2021, pretty much all over the world. Some other things we do, I like to include these fun things in here. We have a Valentine's Day outreach where guys dress up in suits and we hand out flowers to girls on campus, and it has a little card on it that says God loves you and has a QR code to a Bible verse, and girls just really appreciate that on Valentine's Day. We also, this is a cool thing. Cliff Connectly came to campus this past year. Um, for those of you who don't know Cliff, he's pretty much famous on social media, and what he does is he has kind of an open mic discussion where he goes on campuses and students can walk up and kind of debate against him, and it's a really great opportunity for students to hear the gospel truth, to hear God's word, and to get a Christian worldview, really. Um, and this happened because a CRU student just emailed him and it was like, "Hey, could you come to UT?" And so he ended up coming to UT. And I think over the course of 3 days, I would guess 3 to 5 thousand students heard gospel truth. I remember some of my classmates who were atheists even just came up and listened for a while, and that was super cool. And just see how many students were there and how many students were interested in hearing these discussions and debates. Now that we've got into a little bit about what we do as a whole, I want to get into, hey Nate, why are you doing this next year? Why are you making a year commitment to work for CRU? And yeah, I would love to share. You see here on the left, it's a quote from a poem. It says, "Only one life will soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last." I came to college and I was a Christian in high school. I came to college and nobody was watching me more. Nobody was over my shoulder. Nobody from my home was around. And so I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And so really, I chased after the world for a little while, for about a month and a half. And it really left me empty. It really um, didn't satisfy me, didn't fill me up, and then also at the same time was in my engineering classes and just really struggling, staying up till 2 a.m. in the library and just thinking things were going through my head, having a rough time. I was like, what is my purpose in life? What is my life about? And just I watched just through a sermon that I watched by John Piper. In the sermon was this line, and that line really changed my life. A month and a half into college, I realized how much Christ loved me despite my sin. That He went to the cross knowing every way, every sin I would commit, even in the future, and that He still did that for me. And it really made me want to live for Him and made me realize yeah, what's done for Christ, that's what lasts on this earth. That's my purpose is making him look great wherever in my life. And so through that line, really just started kind of sharing the gospel and inviting my classmates to CRU. And I would invite this guy named Case to CRU. Case is here on the right. And he would never come. I think I invited him maybe 5 to 10 times and never would come. And I remember after 1 week where he said no, I was really mad at the Lord. I was like, Lord, I'm trying to do your work and he's not coming to crew. I'm kind of mad at you, Lord. And sure enough, later on that week, he actually ended up coming to crew and he heard a sermon. And in that sermon was this line: when life will soon be past, only what's done for Christ will last. And afterwards, me and him talked about that line and talked about the gospel, was able to share the gospel with him, and his life completely changed. He was living a life full of sin in the party scene, smoking a lot of weed, and now I get to be the best man at his wedding in 2 months. Just super cool story about God's grace and his life and my own life really, and it doesn't stop there because of Case's life changing. Jordan, he saw Case's life and he was like, man, this guy's different, and I want what he has. And so through Case becoming a believer, Jordan became a believer, and then through Jordan becoming a believer, Ryan, the guy next to him, became a believer. Just super cool story of God's kindness towards me and some other guys. Yeah, so if somebody asked me, hey Nate, why do you do what you do? Why are you working for Crew next year? What I share with them is, man, my life was changed in college, and I've seen so many others' lives change in college. And, I could go off and be an engineer right now, but I feel like the Lord has called me to do college ministry this next year at least. So that's kind of why I do what I'm doing next year with Crew. That's the vision. Reach the campus today and reach the world tomorrow. So reach the students of today, and then we'll reach the world through the leaders, through the people that we reached in college. And so, kind of to get there, I have to get there in August. I have to raise support for that, and so I have to depend on others to get me there. So Crew has no central funds for paying salaries and ministry expenses, and so it depends on, like I was saying, the support of individuals in churches. So with that kind of that partnership and with that support, I make a commitment to those partners that I would work diligently, that I would do my job on campus. And then two, I'd send out monthly newsletters of, hey, this is what's going on campus. This is what Crew's doing. This is what's happening. This is the climate on campus. And then three, it's a partnership. It's not a one-way street. And so I make a commitment to care for my partners as well, to care about their lives, to pray for them. And so with that, I wanted to ask if you'd consider, prayerfully consider joining my team at an amount that's significant to you. With that, I want to say thank you if you'd be interested in doing that. And I wanted to ask, if you're watching this video and maybe you can't do that, or maybe you're encouraged by this video, do you know anybody else that would be encouraged to hear about my ministry and what the Lord is doing at the University of Tennessee? Last thing, just thank you. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. God bless.